Have you ever felt something strange in your body? Maybe a sudden tiredness that lingers, or a small shift you can't explain, and deep down you wonder, is this serious? Or am I just getting older? What if I told you, some of those quiet changes might not be random at all? Doctors are warning that certain unexpected body signals could mean something far more serious than everyday aging. In fact, they could be silent signs that death may be closer than we think. Now, before you panic, this video is not meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Because the truth is, many people ignore these early red flags. They chalk it up to just being tired or having a senior moment. But that delay, that hesitation, is what turns a treatable issue into a tragic story. Today, we're uncovering 5 signs your body might already be sending. Signals that could be the difference between catching a problem early or not catching it at all. We'll talk about things like unexplained weight loss, crushing fatigue, sudden confusion, and more. Not in medical jargon, not with confusing numbers, but in plain, real talk. Because when it comes to your health, knowledge is protection. And the earlier you understand what your body's trying to tell you, the more control you keep over how you age and how you live. So don't click away. Stay with me, because these 5 signs, they're not just symptoms, they're lifelines. They might help you, your spouse, or someone you love. This could be the most important video you watch all year. Let's get started. Sign 1. Unexplained weight loss. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed your clothes fitting looser, the belt needing a tighter notch, or a friend saying, "You look like you've dropped a few pounds," even though you haven't changed a single thing about your diet or activity? Now, if you're like many people over 60, that might sound like a good thing at first. We're so used to hearing that losing weight is healthy that we rarely stop to ask, why is this happening? But here's the honest truth. When weight starts falling off without you doing anything to cause it, your body might be sending a warning signal. Not a whisper, but a shout, a cry for attention that something deeper may be wrong. You see, when we age, our metabolism naturally slows. That's expected, but unintentional weight loss, especially more than 5 to 10 pounds over a few months, can be one of the earliest signs that your body is under stress. It could be from the inside out, an undetected infection, heart issues, liver function, thyroid imbalance, or even certain types of cancer. Let me share something personal with you. A man named Robert, someone I once spoke with at a wellness group, told me how his family kept complimenting him on his new look. He hadn't changed a thing, no new diet, no new exercise routine. Yet within 3 months, he had lost 18 pounds. "I thought it was just age doing its thing," he said with a chuckle. "I even felt proud, until I started feeling lightheaded every morning. Walking across the kitchen winded me. That's when I knew something wasn't right." Robert finally visited his doctor, who ran some tests. It turned out his body was battling an issue that had nothing to do with aging and everything to do with a condition that needed immediate treatment. Thankfully, because he paid attention, he got help early, and it made all the difference. That's what I want you to take away here. Don't brush it off. Don't say, "Well, maybe it's just stress," or "I guess I'm getting older." If your appetite hasn't changed, but your body is shrinking, it's time to listen. Maybe your pants feel looser. Maybe you've lost your taste for food. Maybe your energy is fading along with those pounds. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. This isn't about fear. This is about wisdom, about staying ahead of things before they get worse. If you're caring for someone else, this is especially important. Sometimes the people we love won't say a word, but a dropped fork at dinner, a smaller plate, a shirt hanging too loosely, those little things matter. So please, if this is happening to you or someone close to you, don't ignore it. Make the call. Ask the questions. Get the help. Your body is speaking. Don't wait until it's shouting. Listen now. Sign 2. Persistent fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. Let's be honest, feeling tired from time to time is part of life, especially as we get older, right? But here's the thing. There's a big difference between feeling a little worn out after a long day and a type of fatigue that just won't let go of you. I'm talking about a deep, dragging tiredness that clings to you from morning to night. The kind that doesn't care how early you go to bed, how many naps you take, or how quiet your day is. You wake up tired, You eat breakfast tired, you sit in your favorite chair and still feel drained. It's not just in your body, it's in your bones, in your mind, in your spirit. And that's a warning sign many people miss. This isn't the kind of exhaustion you feel after gardening or chasing grandkids. No. This is a fatigue that makes simple things, brushing your hair, making tea, or even having a short phone call, feel like mountains to climb. I remember a woman named Elsie. She was 75, soft-spoken, always the first to show up to our weekly book circle. But over a few weeks, something changed. She stopped chiming in like she used to. One day, she quietly admitted, "I don't know what's wrong. I sleep all night, but I still wake up feeling like I never went to bed." She'd lost interest in her favorite puzzle books. She stopped doing her morning walk. Her hands would tremble just tying her apron. And still, she thought she was just getting older. But when she finally saw her doctor, they found that her thyroid had slowed down drastically, and her heart wasn't pumping as well as it should. Once treatment started, that fog slowly began to lift. The truth is, fatigue like this often means your body is working overtime to compensate for something else. It could be heart failure. It could be a hidden infection. It could be your kidneys or lungs not doing their job. And if we brush it off as just a sign of age, we might miss the chance to treat it while it's still manageable. So what should you look out for? Ask yourself, do you feel winded doing things that used to be easy? Are you napping more, but feeling worse? Have your interests faded, not because you don't care, but because you're just too tired to care? Do you find yourself sitting more, speaking less, and avoiding even short tasks? These are real signals, not weakness, not laziness, not just aging. They are your body's way of waving a flag. And if you're noticing this in someone you love, maybe they seem quieter lately or they doze off during conversations, that matters too. Fatigue can look like personality change, like sadness, like withdrawal. But sometimes it's not emotional, it's physical. Here's what I want you to remember. Getting checked doesn't mean you're being dramatic. It means you're being smart. Doctors can run simple tests to check your heart, your blood levels, your thyroid, and often, catching it early means turning things around before they get worse. So if that tiredness is becoming a constant companion, don't ignore it. Don't wait for it to go away. Because your energy is your life force, and you deserve to feel alive, not just awake. Sign 3. Shortness of breath during simple activities. Let's talk about breath. We don't think about it much until it suddenly becomes harder to catch. And when it does, it can be scary. But many older adults don't recognize it as a warning sign right away, especially when it creeps in slowly. You might start to notice it when walking from one room to another feels like more effort than it used to. Maybe you're making the bed, putting on socks, or even brushing your teeth, and suddenly you have to pause and catch your breath. You sit down, hoping it's just the weather, or maybe that you haven't moved around as much lately. But when something that once felt effortless now leaves you winded, your body is trying to say something. This is exactly what happened to Mr. Amos, a man I once met during a health workshop. He was 78, proud of his independence, and loved tending to his garden. But he began noticing that halfway through watering the flowers, he had to stop and lean on the wall. It puzzled him. "I thought maybe I just needed to eat more," he said. But his breathlessness got worse. When he finally saw his doctor, tests revealed fluid buildup in his lungs, a complication of early-stage heart failure. That's how silent these things can be, and how often they're brushed aside. Shortness of breath can point to serious problems with your heart, lungs, or even anemia. When your heart isn't pumping efficiently, or your lungs aren't bringing in enough oxygen, the simple act of walking across the house can feel like a hike uphill. And the most dangerous part? Many people normalize it. They think it's just aging, but it's not. If you notice this kind of breathlessness, especially when lying down or doing mild tasks, pay close attention. Are your ankles swelling? Do you feel dizzy after standing? Does your breathing take longer to return to normal? These details matter. You don't have to wait for it to become extreme. Talk to your doctor. It might be a minor issue, or it might be the chance to catch something big before it turns serious, because breathing should be something you never have to think twice about. When it suddenly becomes effortful, it's your body's way of whispering, "Please, look closer." Sign 4. Sudden confusion or memory loss. You know your mind better than anyone else. That's why when something feels off, even slightly, it's worth listening. Sudden confusion, trouble focusing, or unexpected memory lapses aren't just part of getting older. They're signs your body, and especially your brain, may be under stress. Now let's be clear. Forgetting a name occasionally or walking into a room and forgetting why, that's normal. It happens to all of us, even younger folks. But what we're talking about here is different. This is when you're in the middle of a familiar routine and suddenly it feels unfamiliar. Or you're having a conversation, and halfway through, the thread of thought disappears entirely. You might find yourself mixing up dates, losing track of time, or feeling unsure of where you are, even in places you know well. One woman I met, Mrs. Olucci, 81, shared how she found herself boiling water and then forgetting why the kettle was on. A few days later, she was meant to meet her son at church but walked past it and wandered until someone stopped to ask if she was okay. These moments frightened her, and understandably so. But what helped her most was not brushing it aside. She spoke to her doctor, and it turned out her body was fighting a urinary tract infection, something that in seniors can cause confusion before any physical symptoms appear. Confusion like this can be a warning sign of infection, stroke, poor circulation to the brain, or even reactions to certain medications. When the brain isn't getting the oxygen or nutrients it needs, it lets you know, not always with pain, but with fogginess, forgetfulness, or behavior that feels unlike you. Loved ones are often the first to notice. A friend might say, "You've been repeating yourself a lot lately," or "You've seemed more withdrawn." Instead of feeling embarrassed, take it as a loving nudge. They're noticing what you may not see from the inside. And if these changes come and go, don't ignore them. Sudden shifts in alertness, especially when paired with fatigue, unsteady movement, or personality changes, are reason enough to check in with your doctor. The sooner it's addressed, the better the chance of recovery or management. Don't wait until it gets worse. If something feels off in your thinking, trust yourself. Speak up. You deserve to feel clear, safe, and steady in your own mind. Sign 5. Swelling in the legs or abdomen. Sometimes the signs your body gives you are quiet, gentle, like your shoes fitting tighter than usual, or your waistband leaving deeper marks than it used to. It's easy to chalk it up to something simple. Maybe the weather. Maybe you sat too long. But persistent swelling, especially in your legs, ankles, feet, or belly, could be your body's way of whispering that something serious is going on. This kind of swelling is known as edema, and it happens when your body holds on to more fluid than it should. What most people don't realize is that it's often a sign that something deeper isn't working quite right. The heart, kidneys, or liver might be struggling to keep everything in balance. And when those organs aren't pumping, filtering, or processing effectively, fluid begins to collect, slowly at first, then more noticeably. A retired teacher I once spoke with, Mr. Ade, shared how he first noticed the tops of his socks pressing deeper into his skin by evening. Then he began feeling full after eating very little and noticed his stomach looked rounder, firmer, not the usual soft belly from enjoying a good meal. At first, he laughed it off, but when walking became more tiring and lying down made him short of breath, he knew it wasn't just age catching up with him. Swelling might not hurt, but that's what makes it so easy to ignore. If your shoes don't fit like they used to, your rings feel tight, or your belly feels bloated for no clear reason, those are messages worth listening to. Especially if the swelling is worse at the end of the day and better in the morning after you've been lying down. In some cases, pressing on the swollen area might leave an indentation that takes a while to disappear. That's a red flag. It means fluid is pooling in your tissues. This isn't something you need to panic about, but it is something to act on. The good news? If caught early, many of the causes of swelling can be managed. Sometimes with medication, changes in salt intake, or better support for the heart. So if you're noticing puffiness that doesn't go away, or if your body just feels heavier, tighter, or more uncomfortable than usual, please don't just live with it. Speak with your doctor. Your body is asking for attention. The earlier you respond, the more power you have to stay healthy and steady on your feet. Let's take a quiet breath together. These 5 signs we've talked about today: unexplained weight loss, unshakable fatigue, shortness of breath, sudden confusion, and swelling in the legs or abdomen. They're not here to frighten you. They're here to give you power. Because aging isn't about fading, it's about deepening. It's about becoming more aware, more attuned, and more willing to pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you. And if you've recognized even one of these signs in your own life or in someone you care about, this isn't the moment to ignore it. This is your chance to act with wisdom, to be curious instead of afraid, and to speak up when something feels off. That's not overreacting. That's being proactive. That's giving yourself the best chance to keep doing the things you love for many more years to come. Maybe one of these signs has already been whispering to you. Or maybe today's video opened your eyes to something you hadn't thought about before. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs stood out to you most? Have you experienced anything like this? Or is there something you've noticed lately that just doesn't feel right? Please share your story in the comments. Your experience could help someone else watching this feel seen, understood, and encouraged to take the next step. And if you found this video helpful, I kindly ask you to like it, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another health conversation like this one. Your support helps us keep creating thoughtful, empowering content for you and others who may be walking a similar path. Until next time, stay gentle with yourself, stay curious, and above all, keep listening to the quiet wisdom of your body.